छोड़ के भाग जाना, यही उनके नसीब में लिखा हुआ।
आज वो सदन छोड़कर नहीं गए, मर्यादा छोड़कर गए। भारत के संविधान की इससे बड़ी अपमानित बात नहीं हो सकती।
झूठ फैलाने वालों की सत्य सुनने की ताकत भी नहीं होती।
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. For the last 2 days, the speech of the democratically elected Prime Minister of India was disrupted in the temple of democracy. Ironically, the man who calls Prime Minister Modi a dictator has been caught on camera dictating and orchestrating chaos, chants and commotion in Parliament. So did the self-appointed defenders of the Samvidhan unleash anarchy in the Sansad? We will let you, the viewer, decide that. Tonight's News Hour fact checks are these 4 videos from the Lok Sabha yesterday. Look at the first video where Rahul Gandhi can be seen saying, "Come on, come on." He even gestures with his hand to the opposition MPs to chant and get up from their seats and walk into the well. This was while Prime Minister Modi was responding to the debate on the presidential address. Well, then in video 2, you can now see Rahul Gandhi get up from his seat and pointing towards the well of the house. He seems to be indicating that that's where the opposition MPs should be going and chanting and raising slogans. Now, in the third video, Rahul Gandhi can be seen giving instructions to the MPs over the ruckus and sloganeering, and he can be seen leaning in and orchestrating the hangama against Prime Minister Modi. And finally, in video number 4, this video you can see the opposition MPs storming the well of the house and the chronology, chronology samjhiye. From Rahul Gandhi's hand gesture to the Vipaksh MPs storming the well of the house to disrupt the Prime Minister's speech, is this disruption being dictated by Rahul Gandhi? Not just in the Lok Sabha yesterday, a similar template of disruption was followed by the Congress party in the Rajya Sabha or the House of the Elder, the upper house, today. While Prime Minister Narendra Modi spoke, the opposition started sloganeering and disrupting, and then the Congress staged a walkout with its allies. And why? Because the leader of opposition, Mallikarjun Kharge, wanted to intervene while the Prime Minister was speaking to set the record straight on some facts that were misquoted in Lok Sabha. Why was the objection not raised in Lok Sabha? Why in Rajya Sabha? And when the Prime Minister did not yield, the chair could not have allowed the LOP to speak. They just walked out. They just walked out, and this forced the Prime Minister to lash out at the insult to the Sansad, and he launched this stinging attack and said that those who don't have the strength to hear the truth, wo maidan chhod ke bhag gaye. He also gave a point-by-point rebuttal to Rahul Gandhi from Manipur to Congress crushing the Constitution. Listen in to this acerbic attack by the Prime Minister.
कोई मुझे बताएं कि संविधान की मर्यादाओं को तार-तार करके प्रोटोकॉल में एक परिवार को प्राथमिकता कैसे दी जाती थी, कौन सा संविधान था? और आज संविधान की बातें करते हैं, संविधान लहराते हैं, जय संविधान कहते हैं। अरे आप लोग तो इंडिया इज इंदिरा, इंदिरा इज इंडिया के नारे लगा करके जिए हो। सत्य सुनने की ताकत भी नहीं होती। इनका सत्य से मुकाबला करना, इसके लिए जिनके हौसले नहीं है, उन्होंने उठाए हुए सवालों के जवाब भी सुनने की हिम्मत नहीं है। नारेबाजी, हो हल्ला और मैदान छोड़ के भाग जाना, यही उनके नसीब में लिखा हुआ। हम सभी को राजनीति से ऊपर उठ करके वहां की स्थिति को सामान्य बनाने में सहयोग करना चाहिए। ये हम सबका कर्तव्य है। और कांग्रेस के लोग ये न भूले कि मणिपुर में इन्हीं कारणों से 10 बार राष्ट्रपति शासन लगाना पड़ा है। इतने छोटे से राज्य में 10 बार प्रेसिडेंशियल रूल लगाना पड़ा है, राष्ट्रपति शासन लगाना पड़ा है। कुछ तो मुसीबतें होगी और ये हमारे कार्यक्रम में नहीं हुआ है। कांग्रेस पार्टी से मैं आप वालों से कहता हूं, आपने प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस करके आपके घोटालों के इतने सारे सबूत देश के सामने रखे थे। कांग्रेस ने प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस की थी, इन्हीं लोगों के खिलाफ की थी। अब ये बताएं कि ये जो उन्होंने सबूत प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस करके सारी फाइलें बताई थी, क्या वो सबूत सच्चे थे या झूठे थे? दोनों एक दूसरे को खोल करके रख देंगे। ये ऐसे लोग हैं जिनका डबल स्टैंडर्ड है, दोहरा रवैया है। और केरला में उनके शहजादे, उन्हीं के केरल के एक मुख्यमंत्री जो उनके गठबंधन के साथी है, उनको जेल भेजने की अपील करते हैं।
This disruption of Prime Minister's speech for the second day in a row has led to a sharp war of words between the leader of the House in the Rajya Sabha, Mallikarjun Kharge, and the Parliamentary Affairs Minister, Kiran Rijiju. Listen in.
उन्होंने ये कहा कि यहाँ तक जो कॉन्स्टिट्यूंट असेंबली के मेंबर से किए हैं ये गलत है। उन्होंने उस वक्त अपोज करके इस संविधान को उन्होंने नकार दिया था। ये किसने कहा? ये ऑर्गेनाइजर ने, आरएसएस ने, जनसंघ के जो लोग थे उस वक्त उन्होंने कहा। इसका जन्म शुरू हुआ उस दिन से इन्होंने बहुत से पुतले जलाए, अंबेडकर के, नेहरू जी के पुतले जलाकर रामलीला मैदान में उन्होंने ये सब काम किया।
वो सत्ता में नहीं आया इसलिए पार्लियामेंट चलने नहीं देंगे, ये कभी भी नहीं हो सकता है। कांग्रेस पार्टी को सोचना होगा कि देश का प्रधानमंत्री किसी एक दल का नहीं होता है, वो पूरा देश का नेतृत्व करते हैं। तो प्रधानमंत्री का पद और उस पद का गरिमा, इसको ध्यान रखना हम सबका जिम्मेदारी है।
So, ladies and gentlemen, the legitimate question on the news hour tonight: disrupting democracy to oppose Modi, is that legitimate? That's the question and that's the debate coming up on the other side.
You're watching the News Hour at 9. Debate number 1 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
Joining the debate tonight is Shazia Alvi, national spokesperson of the BJP, Dr. Anand Ranganathan, author, scientist, a political commentator, Patabhi Ram Komareddy, national spokesperson of the TDP, Ameek Jamai, national spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party, with me in the studios here. Also joining me tonight, Priyanka Bharti, national spokesperson of the RJD, the very, very feisty Priyanka Bharti. But my first question goes to Dr. Sanjay Jha, author, congressman by heart and by conduct. And Sanjay Jha, I want to ask you, and I don't know why you're sitting in some place which is so very dark. अरे भाई लाइट जलाओ, देश में रोशनी है, दुनिया में रोशनी है। इतना मरोस होने की, इतना फिक्र करने की जरूरत नहीं है। But Sanjay Jha, the question I want to ask you tonight is, yesterday, videos show how Rahul Gandhi was literally orchestrating his members of parliament to rush into the well. He was actually hooting at some points. Oh, you could actually see him rounding up his mouth and, oh, what's happening, sloganeering. Well, he's the leader of opposition. There is some decorum in parliament as we used to know it. I've covered it for over 25 years. And the leaders of opposition, इशारा करते थे, पर इस तरह से नहीं जो सबको दिखता रहे, कि जाओ 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 जाओ, ऐसे नहीं करना पड़ता था। हल्का सा आंख का इशारा ही काफी था। Question I'm asking is, for 1.5 days, all issues were raised, debated, and every leader in the parliament who wanted to represent his party was given a chance to do so. why then should the Prime Minister of the country be denied the chance to respond to the questions? You're not satisfied, you can raise questions, you can put rejoinders, you can do the ho halla after the speech. But why during the speech? And the same template repeated in Rajya Sabha today. I want to ask you, democratically elected Prime Minister with the maximum number of seats, getting a pre-poll alliance to govern this country, that's what the Constitution dictates. How is the opposition, which wants to carry on a campaign of saving the Constitution, saving democracy, want to do it by disrupting the same rules of the same Constitution? Sanjay Jha.
Navika, good evening. Let me assure you that this is not by design, but by default, that I'm in an area where there has been a sudden partial darkness. But I will try and do my best to lighten up the conversation today on your program. But, I do want to make a point, Navika. And I think we go back to what you and I have debated for long, since May of last year, when I think we all discovered that Manipur was burning. And here is the point that Mr. Modi will have to explain. I think today he made a Freudian slip when he said Manipur, a small state. I do believe Mr. Modi has failed in his duty towards what he calls a small state. For God's sake, Mr. Modi should know that the population of Manipur may be just 4 million, but it is as big as countries like Georgia or Uruguay or Croatia. Maybe because it has only 2 members of parliament who are elected to the Lok Sabha, Mr. Modi did not feel it so important. After all, the double-engine Sarkar would work, a BJP at the center, and they have a BJP government in the state. Navika, pay attention to what the people of Manipur have told the BJP, and principally Mr. Modi himself. They have defeated the BJP. The Congress's 2 members have been elected from Manipur. Tell me, isn't that actually an indictment of what I believe is the biggest fraud which has been perpetrated by the BJP on the people of India, which is a double-engine Sarkar, almost an implied threat to people across the country. And it is actually against the principles of cooperative federalism, because the BJP campaigned saying, if you don't vote for us in states, don't expect us to be charitable towards you at all. And here is the point. When Mr. Modi said today that, things have improved, will Mr. Modi acknowledge that there are over 200 people dead, Mr. Modi? So over 50,000 homeless. And by the way, Manipur, even as we talk, Navika, is still far from the dark woods it has been in, which raises the point. Why has the Prime Minister chosen not to go there? And has he not gone there because he's embarrassed?
Initially, your goalpost was, why does the Prime Minister not speak about Manipur? When he spoke and responded on Manipur, you went out of the Rajya Sabha. You did not want to listen to him. And now you are raising the bogey about why he hasn't gone there. If he goes there, you will say, Congress has won. Why has he come? The people of Manipur have rejected. You can say what you want, Sanjay Jha. English language has so many words in its dictionary and vocabulary. कुछ भी बोल सकते हो आप. आपके पास बहुत बड़ी choice है. Fact of the matter is the Prime Minister exposed you. If 10 times in the past the Congress party had to impose president's rule, then problems in Manipur are certainly not something that have happened just 2 years ago or 3 years ago. The point is, Shazia Ilmi, the point is, they want to raise all these objections. They only want to corner the Prime Minister, but they are not interested in the answers he had to offer. Which is why I am asking you as a taxpayer, why should taxpayers pay 2 crores per hour for running the parliament if nothing is going to come out of parliament?
Well, while Sanjay Jha is busy memorizing the ode to melancholy, let me tell him clearly that how Rahul Gandhi and the opposition behaved was indeed deplorable. I mean, first of all, the way Rahul Gandhi conducted himself. There's one thing to bring disrepute to the House and to mock the Speaker. But it's quite another to bring down and lower the dignity of your own post, that of LOP, the newest avatar that he's donned. And I think what he did was very. I mean, he was indulging in some kind of tomfoolery. He was egging and instigating later his fellow parliamentarians to misbehave. You know, I want to ask Sanjay ji, is disrupting the parliament a constitutional? Is constantly heckling the Prime Minister constitutional? Is walking out when the Prime Minister is answering the very questions that you wanted him to answer, is that constitutional? Is violating the rule book not once but many times over, is that constitutional? Is using religious figures of the country with such frivolity, is that constitutional? So I don't know what you think is constitutional, but I think Rahul Gandhi and the opposition have lost all sense of propriety, whether it's a constitution, and that's been proven many times. You know, so everything is in खतरा. पहले वक्त में होता था इस्लाम खतरे में है, फिर संविधान खतरे में है, और आरक्षण खतरे में है. But the kind of lies and the fake narrative that have been peddled and bandied around, all of them were called out during Rahul Gandhi's speech, whether it was MSP or Agniveer being a brainchild of Prime Minister and what have you. And after being called out later on when the Prime Minister spoke, it was so, I felt embarrassed for the opposition. The whole world watched while they continued to misbehave and heckle. And not just that, look at the difference between the two. Prime Minister actually, in all courtesy, offers a glass of water, and look at Rahul Gandhi. He's earlier winked and hugged and turned his back to the speaker and whatnot. But and you know what got endorsed and imprinted in the minds of people, of the electorate, the vast difference between the two. Between what Rahul Gandhi stands for in his complete juvenile, B-grade, stand-up comic manner, and what our Prime Minister stands for. His integrity, his authenticity, his inclination towards facts, as opposed to Rahul, who was woefully short on fact. And he kind of realizes that. But what he did in the last 3-4 days, the way Rahul Gandhi and opposition have conducted themselves, there is nothing constitutional, nothing even remotely decent about it. And there is completely disregard for the constitution values and the parliamentary procedures and practices that we have witnessed.
Absolutely, Shazia. And that's the question I want to ask Ameek Jamai Saab. Ameek Jamai Saab, Akhilesh Yadav, yesterday also I said, he spoke. There was a level of the debate that he took it to. And look at Rahul Gandhi's gesturing in parliament. I want to ask you, सवाल उठाएं तो जवाब सुन लो. अगर सुनना नहीं है तो भाई टैक्स पेयर के 2 करोड़ पर आवर क्यों खर्चा कर रहे हो? टैक्स हम लोग काम करते हैं और टैक्स देते हैं और यहाँ उड़ाए जा रहे हैं पैसे किसी के एंटरटेनमेंट के लिए. ये एंटरटेनमेंट की जगह नहीं है, अमीर जमाई जी. एंड द अदर थिंग, द प्राइम मिनिस्टर एक्चुअली एक्सपोज्ड द डबल स्टैंडर्ड्स. The double standards, the hypocrisy and the complete propaganda that has been done on the issue of corruption and the agencies. While he said that Aam Aadmi Party issues were raised by the Congress Party. The Congress Party, 3 press conferences, Supriya Srinath, Ajay Makhan and Sandeep Dikshit. 3 people did press conferences and Rahul Gandhi says, I must stand and defend them.
Correct.
Mulayam Singh Yadav said, the Congress Party has used and abused the CBI and income tax departments to make their government run. आपने भी सुना होगा वो स्टेटमेंट मुलायम जी का. अब या तो मुलायम जी सही बोल रहे थे या गलत? आप क्या कह रहे हैं? सही बोल रहे हैं?
देखिए, हमारा जो पार्लियामेंट है वो आसाराम बापू के दिव्य ज्ञान देने के लिए तो है नहीं कि एक कोई पोप आएंगे वो ज्ञान देंगे या एक कोई मौलवी आएंगे वो ज्ञान देंगे और पूरा संसद सुनेगा. कोई उससे सवाल नहीं कर सकता, शहंशाह से देश का कोई शख्स सवाल नहीं कर सकता. जो प्रधानमंत्री आम आदमी के टैक्स पेयर से महंगी दौलत, महंगा कपड़ा, महंगा घर, महंगे खर्चे में अपनी जिंदगी गुजार रहा है, अगर आदरणीय राहुल गांधी जी, अगर आदरणीय अखिलेश यादव जी उनसे पूछते हैं कि प्रधानमंत्री जी 2 घंटे 14 मिनट के भाषण में भारत के युवाओं के बारे में क्या बात करी, नीट पे क्या बात करी, यूजीसी नेट के फ्लोर पे क्या बात करी, ARO आरओ के पर्चे की लीक पर क्या बात करी, देश की सुरक्षा पे क्या बात करी। मणिपुर को वो कहते हैं कि छोटा देश है। मैं तो कह रहा हूं कि 5000 भी अगर लोग होते वहां के, तो क्या वो भारत का हिस्सा नहीं है? क्या मणिपुर के जो ईसाई हैं, जो कुकी हैं, जो मैतेई हैं, उनका इस देश को बनाने में, नेशन बिल्डिंग में उनके आर्टिस्ट का, उनके युवाओं का, उनकी महिलाओं का भारत के कंट्रीब्यूशन में कोई रोल नहीं है? क्योंकि उनकी तादाद कम है, इसलिए वहां पे 200 चर्च फूके दिए गए और गृह मंत्रालय और प्राइम मिनिस्टर चुप्पी साधे बैठा। एक ऐसा प्रधानमंत्री जो कहता है कि वो पूरे देश का प्रधानमंत्री है, और उस प्रधानमंत्री से जब आदरणीय राहुल जी सवाल करेंगे, जाहिर सी बात है जब 200 चर्च फूकेंगे तो भारत के युवाओं में गुस्सा आएगा, भारत के राहुल जी में गुस्सा आएगा, अखिलेश यादव जो यंग टक्स हैं उनके अंदर गुस्सा आएगा। लेकिन प्रधानमंत्री जी चाहते हैं कि पूरा देश उनको आसाराम बापू की तरह से उनका ज्ञान सुने। हम सुनने को तैयार नहीं है। हम मणिपुर को इस देश का अभिन्न अंग, इस देश का ब्लड, इस देश का स्पाइनल कॉर्ड मानते हैं। लेकिन क्या प्रधानमंत्री अगर अपना समझते हैं तो क्या वो तीसरी बार प्रधानमंत्री बन गए हैं? उनके मणिपुर के टैक्स पेयर से प्रधानमंत्री कपड़े पहनते हैं, खाना खाते हैं। क्या वहां पे जाके मैतेई और जो हमारे जो कुकीज हैं, आज वहां पे नया देश बनने की मांग चल रही है। शाजिया, इंटरनल सिक्योरिटी का भारत के देश का ये हाल है नरेंद्र मोदी के राज्य में कि मणिपुर कह रहा है कि मुझे भारत के साथ नहीं रहना, मुझे भारत के साथ नहीं रहना। और पहले की जहां तक बात है, आप कहते हो कि वहां पर राष्ट्रपति शासन लगा। यस, मणिपुर में प्रॉब्लम थी, असम में प्रॉब्लम थी, उल्फा सुल्फा न जाने क्या क्या मिलिटेंट ग्रुप थे, उनको मेन स्ट्रीम में लाया गया, उनको देश के साथ जोड़ा गया। वहां पे डेमोक्रेसी आई। जब डेमोक्रेसी आई, ऐसी ताकतें जो चाइना से, जो म्यांमार से हमारे देश में आतंकवाद चाहते हैं, जो आतंकवाद चाहते हैं, तो जब हमारे ईसाई समाज के 200 चर्च फूंक दिए गए, नाविका मैम चुप थी, प्राइम मिनिस्टर चुप था, कोई नहीं बोला।
अमित
गुस्सा आता है,
आई ऑब्जेक्ट एंड प्लीज अपना होमवर्क करके आया करिए। यहाँ पर कितनी डिबेट्स हुई हैं? आनंद रंगनाथन
फूके गए।
आप
कहिए
मैं आपको कह दूं, नहीं मैं आपको कह दूं, आपके बयान और आपके पोप का ज्ञान सुनने के लिए मैं यहाँ नहीं बैठी हूँ। आप अगर अपना होमवर्क करके आते तो यू वुड हैव नोन दैट मणिपुर हैज बीन डिबेटेड एड नॉसिम ऑन दिस शो, ऑन दिस चैनल एंड आनंद रंगनाथन, this is the peddling of lies. This is the peddling of lies that is going on when they raise this question here. And do not even see the history and the archives of Times Now and come and challenge us. You know, that is how they start a lie. That is how they spread a lie. And this is the anatomy of a propaganda. Anand?
Navika, good evening to you and good evening to my fellow panelists. It's a 1-hour show. I wouldn't get more than 3 minutes, I know that. And I was expecting to, because as a victim of severe deja vu, that we have such discussions on the inaugural days of every parliamentary session, and everyone says the same thing and nothing changes. I thought I would use my 2.5 to 3 minutes to debunk the vapid lies that have been spread, especially on Agniveer. So if you allow me to do that, I'll do that. But before, my good friend from the Samajwadi Party repeatedly talks about 200 churches being burnt. He doesn't give any evidence for it. He doesn't talk about 393 temples also burnt during the same time. Why would he talk only about churches being burnt and stay silent about the temples being burnt?
देश के प्राइम मिनिस्टर क्यों नहीं गए मणिपुर में मंदिर को रोकने के लिए?
I want to now, Navika,
आप तो दानिश्वर हैं, आप तो राइटर हैं,
आपको मंदिर की याद नहीं आई।
आप बोलिए,
अब आप इंतजार कीजिए।
प्राइम मिनिस्टर मंदिर जलते हुए कैसे देख सकते थे? वोट चाहिए हिंदुओं का, सिर्फ हिंदुओं का वोट चाहिए।
क्या चल रहा है ये?
और आपको किसका वोट चाहिए? हमें जो आपको सिर्फ चर्चेज नजर आते हैं, मंदिर नजर नहीं आते, आपको किसका चाहिए?
हमें अयोध्या जी का आशीर्वाद चाहिए था, मिल गया हमें।
तो चलिए फिर थोड़ी तसल्ली कीजिए, क्योंकि आसाराम बापू आप भी नहीं है और हम भी यहाँ आपको सुनने के लिए सिर्फ नहीं बैठे।
आसाराम एक ही है, बस एक ही, एक जेल में एक बाहर है।
आनंद रंगनाथन का
नाविका ऐसे नहीं चलेगा, ये गुंडाई करना चाहते हैं, इनको पार्लियामेंट भेजो। स्टूडियो में क्या कर रहे हैं? Now he talked preferentially, selectively only of the churches. All I said was, what was his reason that he would not even dare to mention 393 temples being burned? सिर्फ चर्चेज याद आई, टेम्पल्स नहीं आया। इनसे एजेंडा इनका क्लियर हो गया। बहरहाल, आई डोंट वांट टू डिस्कस ऑल दिस। आई वांटेड विद योर परमिशन नाविका, बिकॉज दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. Lies were spread about Agniveer, and it is important because all of us, if all Indians love one entity, forget about politics, it is the defense force and our brave jawans. So can I, with your permission, take 2.5 minutes to debunk that lie?
Yeah, Congress.
Go ahead.
Thank you. I appreciate that, and I would appreciate if I'm not interrupted because this is a serious matter.
There are no guarantees
Navika,
for that in Parliament. Certainly not here.
No, people are kind. No, Navika, look, it's very sad that the Congress and Rahul Gandhi continue to lie and mislead the nation on an issue that is as important and as emotional as Agniveer. Look, I am neither an expert nor in the services, just a common citizen. But as I see it, here are the facts regarding the Agniveer scheme. Number one, the chiefs of all three wings of our armed forces are supporting it enthusiastically, and across decades, across different governments, I cannot think of a single instance where our chiefs have knowingly taken a decision not in the interest of either the armed forces or the nation. It follows that if they are supporting a recruitment scheme, they would have banged their heads together on this one and ironed out all the possible impediments. Number two, and this was emphasized by the late General Rawat as well, if you remember, the armed forces are not an employment scheme. They are not Manrega. In fact, they should be, and they are, one of the toughest places to gain entry. Only the best should be chosen and routinely tested so that they remain the best. It follows that if our military feels there should be multiple rounds of merit-based competition, it should be encouraged to implement such a policy. Number three, such recruitment schemes are followed by many nations. India is not an exception. China, Russia, France, US, and number four, the world over. You want the youngest, the fittest, the best to be trained for all future eventualities as begets their fate as well as the fate of the nation. The UPSC and the IITs have a multiple level selection process. So why shouldn't the armed forces? Number five, as far as the scheme is concerned, you have a merit-based inclusion after which you are trained for 4 years, at the end of which you accumulate more than 10 lakhs and you get an opportunity to further compete for a position in the defense forces. For those who do not succeed at this second step, they come out with it, the degree, 10 lakhs and a glowing certificate of having served the country when so young. I can't think of a better tick on CV or a 21-year-old than this, can you? Number six, as for those worried that the trained and battle-ready rejected at the second round would be instead recruited by underworld and terror organizations, I'm sorry. But this is ridiculous. As ridiculous as saying once rejected for the national team for Olympic boxing or shot put, the tens of thousands pugilists and shot putters would be recruited by stone pelters and thugs. Finally, please give me 30 seconds. Here are the amendments and additions to the Agniveer scheme after it was launched. Number one, upper age limit extended. Number two, UGC skill recognition declared. Number three, bank loan priority notified. 4, 10% CAPF vacancies reserved. 5, open schooling certificate announced. 6, 10% MOD job vacancies reserved. 7, monetary compensation in case of death. The next of kin of a martyred Agniveer soldier who dies in battle receives 48 lakhs as non-contributory insurance and an ex-gratia of 44 lakhs. They also receive Seva Nidhi contributed by the Agniveer with a matching contribution by the government along with interest. Pay for the remaining years for the date of the tragic demise. 8 lakhs from the Armed Forces Battle Casualty Fund. So it is not as though the government didn't listen to suggestions. Sure, if you think Agniveer can be improved, why not? By all means review it. But don't lie and don't trash it just because you hate Modi.
But they've trashed Agniveer. They've trashed anything that has been done in Manipur.
Yes.
They've trashed everything about the agencies. What do they want? A license to just loot? And that is the question I want to ask Priyanka Bharti. Priyanka Bharti, it is the Congress party that did many press conferences and said that the liquor scam was perpetuated by the Aam Aadmi Party. At that time, there were no signs that these two parties are going to get together, so investigation began. And now, the same Congress party which exposed so-called the Aam Aadmi Party is trying to now fight for their rights. What's going on? We have an unprecedented situation where a chief minister refuses to resign and is sitting in jail. Even Lalu Prasad Yadav, when he was given a jail term, resigned. Koma Reddy ji, my question to you is, My question to you is about the parliament. And on the parliament, I want to ask you, questions raised, questions answered. Yet, the opposition will not allow the Prime Minister to speak. The opposition will troop into the well in Lok Sabha, will walk out in the Rajya Sabha. Why do we have parliament sessions? Is it time to change the constitution on the regularity with which parliament sessions have to be called?
Yeah, Navika ji, good evening. See, the other day I was listening to the leader of opposition, Rahul Gandhi ji, making his first speech as LOP. So in that speech, he was mentioning time and again, Daromat, Daromat, Daromat. I don't know how many times he said that, Daromat. But unfortunately, within hours of repeatedly saying Daromat, he had proved himself to be a big coward. He is not brave enough to even listen to the Prime Minister. And he's saying, Daromat, Rahul, today you have proved yourself to be a big coward. And what do you think of yourself? He is being a leader of opposition. Do you think it is being a leader of some gang of hooligans? Trying to create some kind of ruckus? You don't know how to behave like a good parliamentarian. And the other day was also saying that he's just warming up. Warming up. Rahul ji is warming up. Sharm aani chahiye, Navika ji. He had entered the parliament in 2004, exactly 2 decades. And now he's saying he's still warming up. You took 2 decades to just warm up. And God knows how many more decades you'll take to become a good parliamentarian. So it is a shame. It is a shame for the India Alliance to have a leader like Rahul Gandhi leading their pack. And the other point is, Navika ji, and see, this is not the first time, they are afraid of someone. Look at the history of this parivar. ये सुभाष चंद्र बोस जी को देख के डर गए थे. आप जाइए हिस्ट्री में जाइए. सरदार वल्लभ भाई पटेल जी को देख के डर गए थे परिवार और उनको प्रधानमंत्री बनने नहीं दिया. अंबेडकर जी को देख के डर गए, उनको पार्लियामेंट में आने नहीं दिया. संविधान को देख के डर गए, इसलिए इमरजेंसी लागू किया. और आई डोंट नो हाउ मेनी विपक्ष के सरकारों को देख के हर बार डर जाते थे लोग. और संविधान में जो आर्टिकल 356 था, उनको चाहे आई थिंक अराउंड 90 टाइम्स दे हैव मिसयूज्ड. एंड टुडे दे टॉक अबाउट ब्रेवनेस, बीइंग ब्रेव. See, I don't mince any words in saying, अगर इस देश में सबसे डरपोक परिवार अगर कोई है तो वो राहुल जी का परिवार है. And today they talk about being brave and fighting from the front. So Rahul, stop doing all this natak and tamasha. We know how brave was your family before in the past, and we know how bravely you can confront Modi ji today. अगर इस देश में अगर कोई in true spirit, if someone is brave enough to face any kind of challenge, that is the Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and no one else can take his place.
Well said, Komar Reddy ji. But Sanjay Jha and Amit Jamai, my only question to you is, the Constitution describes this. Anand, I'm coming to you. You haven't got a chance to respond, but I'll come to you just after this comment. I want to ask you, the Constitution, आप Constitution बचाने निकले. Constitution में क्या लिखा हुआ है? Majority जिसकी होती है वो सरकार बनाता है. Majority किसकी है इस बार? मैं पूछना चाहता हूँ.
Okay, Navika, let me answer you very quickly. Mr. Modi has to reconcile
TDP के बारे में नहीं, मैं जो सवाल पूछ रही हूँ उस पे
पूछ रहा हूँ. मैं देखिए कोमर रेड्डी जी यहाँ बैठे हुए हैं. आपको मालूम है कि बीजेपी ने, टीडीपी ने आंध्रा में 4% मुसलमानों का रिजर्वेशन देने का बात किए थे. तो शाजिया और कोमर रेड्डी जी भी जरा आज क्लियर कर दीजिए कि जो 4% मुसलमानों का रिजर्वेशन था, इमामों को जो तनख्वाह थी,
जिस वक्त
आप डर तो नहीं गए हो?
जिस वक्त आप क्लियर कर देंगे कि मुलायम सिंह यादव ने कहा था या नहीं कहा था कि कांग्रेस सीबीआई और इनकम टैक्स इस्तेमाल करती है, उसी मिनट में उनसे भी ये सवाल.
कोमर रेड्डी क्या आप डर गए हो?
First you answer. Did Mulayam Singh say that? Did Mulayam Singh say that about Congress party? Yes or no? Yes or no?
इस देश में जो गलतियां कांग्रेस ने करी हैं, क्या यह बात सही नहीं कि इमरजेंसी के लिए पिछले जो प्रधानमंत्री उन्होंने माफी मांगी? अगर इमरजेंसी लगी और अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी ने, आडवाणी जी ने, आरएसएस ने इंदिरा जी से माफी मांगी 3-3 पत्र लिखकर, बड़े बड़का इमरजेंसी के लीडर बन रहे हैं बीजेपी आरएसएस के लोग। हमारा यह कहना है कि जो गलती भारत देख चुका है, नरेंद्र मोदी जी उसको दोहरा क्यों रहे हैं? और शाजिया बताए 4% मुसलमान रिजर्वेशन आंध्रा में कब दे रहे हो? डरो मत बोलो,
सुनिए,
बतौर मुसलमान भी डरो मत बोलो।
ओके, अरे आप बार बार वही बात कह रहे हैं, जवाब
डरो मत बोलो।
डर क्यों रहे हैं आप? डरिए मत भाई साहब, भागिए मत। सुनिए, आपको इसका जवाब मैं दूंगी आपको। आप बताइए, मुलायम सिंह ने कहा था प्रधानमंत्री जी के बारे में कि वो बहुत शानदार व्यक्ति हैं, उनको प्रधानमंत्री बने रहना चाहिए। और जहां तक बात है चंद्रबाबू जी की और 4% मुसलमानों को आरक्षण देने की, क्या आपको लगता है कि जो गठबंधन जो पहले से बना हुआ था, प्री पोल अलायंस, ये बात हमको नहीं मालूम थी? ये बात चंद्रबाबू नायडू को नहीं मालूम थी? ये बात प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी को नहीं मालूम थी? उसके बाद भी प्री पोल अलायंस हुआ, तो सबको पता है ये बात। और वो लोग हम सॉर्ट आउट कर लेंगे, आप इसकी फिक्र ना कीजिए। आप बताइए, मुलायम यादव ने कहा था कि उन्हें अखिलेश यादव को लेकर इतना अफसोस है।
आप क्यों जवाब नहीं देते? दूसरों से जवाब मांगने का हक कहां से आया जब आप खुद?
I wish we had stayed on the topic of the debate, and the topic of the debate really was Parliament. But clearly, political parties are looking to distract its attention. And why is the opposition wanting to do so? I can't understand. Neither is Ameek Jamai answering the question on Mulayam Singh Yadav's statement. Priyanka Bharti ji does not want to respond on Parliament, maybe because they haven't got too many parliamentarians this time around, this election. And Sanjay Jha, well, only talking about Manipur, raising the issue of Manipur and not being in Parliament to listen to the debate, trying to correct the facts of the Lok Sabha in Rajya Sabha. Is this how democracy is saved? Is this how the constitution works? What about following the rules for a change? Sanjay Jha, I'm completely out of time. But thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me on debate number 1.